All right. A year and a half ago, I needed to really get the hell out of Dodge. And for my own sanity, I really like just the seclusion of nature. And I decided I'd go camping. And after just kind of pointing out a Rand McNally map of the state and about an hour on searching through Google, I decided I'd wind up spending the week in the high Sierras. It was going to be perfect. And I told all my friends, my plans and tried kind of getting a camping crew together. We are going to try and make this basically like an old school version of Oregon Trail, but like in real life. So, being a giant nerd, Star Wars D&D being my thing, and a lot of my friends being the same because nerds stick together in numbers for safety. I had a really hard time in convincing my friends to go out in the mountains and freeze their asses off at night. And my initial frustration at my obtuse friends kind of turned and just got warped into this desire to just lone wolf it. And like, this was my quest. And I mean that in the nerdiest of all fashions. So my goal was set. I went out camping for my, into the wild adventure. And the last few days before I went to take off, I told all my friends, like, I'm going it alone. You don't need to, like, try and get time off. And all of my friends were terrified for me. Like, you're a nerd. You're going to die in the woods. Like, ferocious mountain beasts are going to maul you to death. And when I say all my friends, I mean that all save one. My best friend at work, Ryan Gowdy, decided that I wasn't going to get mauled. And I use his words by quote. You're not going to get mauled. You're going to get raped. You're going to get raped in the woods, and it's going to be like Deliverance, except Burt Reynolds won't be there to fucking save you. I'm like, it took me back. Like, maybe Ryan's rape prophecy could come true. And my well meaning conservative father, in all his kind heartedness, decided he was going to drive down from Northern California and hand deliver me this hand cannon. It was really, really weird. I wasn't expecting it, but I was fully prepared to go Charles Bronson on any woodland creature or rapist. There's going to be fucking street justice. I didn't bring a bomber jacket, but, it was all more or less the same kind of thing. So, the next day, wake up bright and early, and I hit the road. I got the windows rolled down on my WRX, and I'm blaring James, and I'm singing along. And I'm halfway cool because I got the cool car, but I'm listening to a 90s ripoff of the Smiths. So it's not that cool, but, I'm new to the whole cool thing, so whatever. I finally get there after a long drive, and I set up camp, and it is fucking beautiful. Like, you gotta go. And I left all the bullshit of people and obligations back in San Diego, and I just felt liberated. I turned in kind of early for that night, but the next day I just spent just hiking everywhere. I found like eagle eyries and beaver dams, and it was awesome. Until then, I just started kind of thinking like the whole trip, like these memories that I'm and the experiences that I'm having would be better served if I had somebody to share them with. And it really kind of punctuated when I just reached down in my pocket, pull out my cell phone, and my singular service said no connection available, which seemed like a really cruel joke on their part, like however appropriate it may be. So I just started kind of getting lonely. And from that, I decided I'd go out the next morning, I'd get a bunch of fish together. And when I got back into San Diego, me and my friends, we'd all have like a barbecue and we'd have a good time. And then, just give myself some goals for the trip. Catch some fish, and I get a warning from the ranger station that there's going to be a sleet storm. And this seems like a good enough reason to call my trip a little short, given the fact that I'm already kind of homesick, which seems really lame, having not been there for very long. And in the clear, night, full moon night, I turn in early, and somewhere around midnight, I'm awoken by the sounds of some ferocious beast outside, and I'm like, holy shit, all my friends' like prophecies of getting mauled by mountain lions are gonna fucking come true. And I just ever so slowly reach into my backpack and pull out my redneck dad's equalizer that he gave me. And I like sheepishly am like unzip the gate to my nylon fortress, also known as a flimsy piece of shit tent that's not gonna save me from anything. And in the clear moonlight, I can see over in halfway into my cooler this obvious feline shape, and my terror is subsided by the fact that it's only a quarter the size of a mountain lion. I have been the victim of the woodland marauder known as a bobcat. And I just kind of chuckle, and the cat must have obviously either heard the zipper or me laugh. Turns around and makes this noise that could only be described as sounding like the monster from Ridley Scott's Aliens. It's just, and I was just, at first I was like scared, like this thing's coming for me. And it ducks its head back in, grabs all that trout they'd spent the whole day catching in the bag, and he just tears off into the underbrush. I pause there for a second, wonder if maybe my decision to like spare the life of this little feline bastard from my street justice was worth it. Come back to the point that it's probably a good idea not to go and unload and go all Compton on this cat. And I decide we were even. I drive back the next day, beat out this storm, and I tell my heroic tale of self-defense against the depredations of Mother Nature to all my friends. And when I get to telling my friend Ryan, he tells me that he had went the whole 2 days before I'd taken off to try and get the night off, like those nights off, so he could follow me up to the Sierra Nevada and terrorize me, like in the movie Deliverance. And like I say to him, I'm like, were you seriously gonna fucking ruin my camping trip? And he's like, well, if nobody was gonna rape you, I would. Which, on top of all the fantastic experiences I had, I learned the valuable lesson that you really have a good friend on your hands when he will like go to the lengths of raping you to prove a point for your own safety. So, thank you.
Nick Garland.